Hey guys, what's going on? This is Kyle at ProjectionHub, and today I'm going to be talking about what are 4 things to do right now if you are planning to apply for an SBA loan. Maybe you're trying to apply for an SBA loan really soon. Maybe you're starting to ruminate on the idea of starting a business and you're going to need an SBA loan in 12 months or in 18 months. Today I'm going to try to talk about 4 things that, regardless of either of those situations, you should do right now. Sure, there's other things in addition to the 4, but to try to make a simple video simple, I'm going to focus on those 4. Now, if you are further out from your start date, you might have a little bit more time to work on these 4 things, but nonetheless, you should do them. So as I mentioned, my name is Kyle, and here at ProjectionHub, I work with our customers on writing custom business plans. ProjectionHub in general, we've helped more than 50,000 small businesses create financial projections, create business plans, help them apply for SBA loans. And before my time with ProjectionHub, I was actually an SBA loan officer for 7 years. And so I was the person working with the startup or a business owner, reviewing their business plan, collecting their documents, taking them through underwriting, reviewing their application, all that good stuff. And so these are some things I would recommend doing right now if you're planning on doing that. Now, if at any point you have any questions, just reach out to us at support@projectionhub.com. You can also leave comments down below the video. We're very responsive down there as well. And I will try to personally respond to some of those questions, or all of the questions really. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. All right, here we go. And first up on the 4 things you should do right now if you're planning on applying for an SBA loan, the near future or the more distant future, is take a look at your personal credit report and start cleaning it up. Now, if you're in the camp of, there's a lot of people out there that are like, how do I start a business with a 400 credit score? And I'm not making fun of those people. I know life circumstances can sometimes really damage credit, and the credit system can be pretty unfair. But in defense of the lenders, as a former lender, a personal credit score is really the best and maybe the only tool that a lender has to assess the trustworthiness of an applicant who is probably a stranger to them in many cases. And so, yes, there's problems with the system. It is a flawed system, and I'm not here to defend it, saying it's the best thing ever created, but it is what exists, and it is what's primarily used by lenders to assess credit worthiness. And so the best thing that you can do is start playing the game and try to work on your credit score. So I'm not the credit score guru, so I'm not trying to sell you a course or a scam on give me $100 and I'll improve your credit score. But there are some things and some resources out there that you can work on. And I'll just say this up front: don't pay anyone to improve your credit score unless it's like a community ran, seminar and they have a small admission price or something like that. You can do that, but there's nothing out there where you're just going to pay some money and all of a sudden your credit score is magically better. And so I look at some resources out there, but I like some of the points even this Experian guide makes, like some obvious ones: make on-time payments, whether that's utilities or any type of bills, make those on time. Pay down some of your revolving account balances. You need to run a little bit lower balances. You want to you don't want to have a high utilization rate. So a lot of people think I got to start closing accounts. That's going to help me. Not if those accounts have long standing. Then you don't want to remove those accounts. I don't really like diversify because that's implying you should go out there and get more credit, more debts. If you're already in a tough spot, I don't know if that's the option I'd recommend. Limit new credit applications, including inquiries, cars, anything. Don't submit your credit to new things. You can even put a freeze on it if you need to. I think that this is the best thing that you should do right out of the gate, and that is dispute inaccurate information on your credit report. A lot of people who have damaged credit is because, one, they're late on making payments because of life circumstances or whatever that may be. So solve that thing first. Start paying on time right away. Pay down balances if you can. Budget, save money, do that if you can. The second thing, there are unfortunately a lot of people out there who fall victim to things belonging on their credit report that aren't their fault, are not for them at all. So they refuse to pay those things, and that hurts their credit. You need to dispute those things right away. Sometimes it takes time for disputes to resolve. You got to get those things off of your credit report. So that's going to be the first thing I'm going to say is look at your personal credit. If it's less than stellar, work on starting to clean it up. I have here listed, there's lots of different SBA loan programs, and we're not going to get in that to that today. We have other videos that talk about the differences, particularly the ones that I think are best are SBA microloans, 7A loans, some 504 loans. Those are what I'm the most familiar with and are pretty flexible. Those programs, and this is not the SBA, this is just an SBA kind of expert resource. They have minimum credit scores on here. Speaking from my experience, especially for an SBA microloan, there wasn't technically a minimum credit score, but you have to keep in mind, the lower your credit score is, even if you're technically over the minimum, the lower it is, the harder it becomes to get approved. That just means other parts of your application have to be stronger. So the more legwork your credit score can do, the less pressure it takes off some of the other things. So, if today you're sitting on a mid 500, high 500, there are some things you can do, and it might just take some time to start building that up, dispute some things, pay some things down, start making all of your payments on time. And I promise you, it will get better. 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, it can improve a lot. If you're in a lot worse off situation than that, low 500s, 400s, you might have to, it's just going to take a longer time, to get that in place. So do those things, get that on check now so that when it comes time to talk to your lender, you can say, these are the things I've been working on, allow time for that process to take place. Number 2, and that is, I'm going to pull up our free SBA loan application checklist just as a guide here. You can grab a link to this down in the description below. It's a free checklist. You can use it, but you should do this now, whether you're applying soon or you're applying a little bit in a year. Locate and gain access to your personal tax returns, or if you already have an established business, your business tax returns. A lot of times when it comes to actually apply for an SBA loan, tax returns become one of the harder things for people to access. Maybe they just misplaced them. Maybe they've been locked up in their TurboTax and they forget their login information. Maybe they have a tax accountant and it just takes time to get those things. So locate your personal and business tax returns as soon as you can. Get those saved in a PDF format in a zip file or something so they're ready to be accessed and ready to go. And slight caveat, if you are an existing business, get your bookkeeping caught up and regularly keep it updated and accurate. That should be implied, but do not wait until it's time to talk to your lender to say, oh, I need to have my accountant or my bookkeeper take this box full of receipts and get it updated. I know bookkeeping can be expensive. I know accounting can be expensive, but I promise you it is worth it. Get that updated as soon as you're possible and then keep it updated all the way through forever, but at least through your SBA loan application process. So that's number 2. Start identifying or locating those important personal financial documents, mainly tax returns. Now, I'm not going to tell you get your financial projections ready today, because if you're not going to apply for another 12 months, 18 months, you may not be ready for that step yet, but you're going to have to access your tax return. So whether you are deferred taxes or whatever the situation may be, you need to get those things in order so the lender can have those when it's time to come to that. Okay, number 3, and this one is a little bit less. The first 2 were very check this number, submit this document, get this document ready. The third one is a little bit more ambiguous than that, but it's very important. And that's going to be and I have a free business plan template up here as an example. Take a good hard look at your relevant personal experience and skill set. So this is applying mainly to a startup. If you're planning to start a new business, you're going to need an SBA loan. A very, very big component of your application process is going to be basically convincing the lender to believe in you and bet on you as the owner starting this business. So, we can make a business plan good, and that's the whole goal. I've got other videos on how to do that. But one of the main things to do is you cannot replace experience and know-how. So we want to make sure the lender believes that you know what you're doing and you know what you're getting yourself into. So if I have a med spa business plan, let's just use that as an example. Say you want to start a new med spa. Have you worked in a med spa before? Have you managed a med spa before? Are you familiar with what a med spa is? Maybe you've just been in a regular spa or salon. That's still relevant experience. Okay, maybe you haven't worked in that place before, but you understand there's a big opportunity. Have you ever ran any business before? Have you managed people before? Do you have experience with marketing? All of those different things that we could take that thread a million different directions, but that is something you should start looking at today. Is take a good hard look in the mirror and say, okay, I have an idea and I want to start this business maybe in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. Right now, would someone look at me, would a lender look at me and believe that I know what I'm doing and what I'm getting myself into? If not, that's primarily what I'm going to speak to. If that's true, then great. Eventually, when it comes time to write your business plan, you'll include that in there. It'll be great. If you don't feel confident in that answer yet, what you can do today is, 1, try to start getting that experience. Okay, I know you can't it takes time. You can't just fabricate that out of thin air. So you may need to go put in some time working somewhere. So that's option 1. That's not going to be the fastest option. Option 2 is going to be to supplement your experience. How do you do that? You find or add a partner to the business. It's probably the first way. So maybe you're not doing this solo, but you have a friend who managed a med spa business for 5 years, and you approach them with the idea, what if we went and started our own thing? And they say, yeah, that would be great. I just never really wanted to do that on my own. Like, perfect. Well, let's do that together. Here's what I know how to do, and you clearly understand how to run a med spa. That's really helpful experience. So now you've supplemented that lack of experience you don't have, and you're going to be more prepared for when that time comes. So, and if there's not an obvious person that's going to be a partner in the business, you can identify, maybe they don't want to be an owner in the business, but maybe they've agreed to come work for your new spa. That's still good. Or maybe they'll be an employee in that new spa. So that's what I mean by supplementing experience. Start getting that process in motion, either gaining the experience and skill set on your own or supplementing it by finding a really strong partner, a key manager, that kind of thing to be ready to go with you. And the fourth thing that I would do if you're planning to apply for an SBA loan today, not apply today, but a thing I would start doing today, start saving money. Maybe that's easier said than done. I know a lot of people will like to start businesses because they view it as a path to change their financial circumstances, which can be very true. But the reality of starting businesses is that it takes money. And even if that means getting someone else to lend you the money, those lenders are still going to require you to have some skin in the game too. So real quickly, without going into super great detail, something that's very typical is you need to have what's called an owner investment. So let's say you determine it's going to cost $100,000 to start your new med spa. The lender's not going to give you $100,000. They might give you $90,000, right? So there's usually a minimum 10% owner investment, owner participation requirement. So you put in $10,000, the lender puts in the other $90,000. All of that goes to getting up off the ground. So at a minimum, that's $10,000 that needs to be saved. When we zoom out even a little bit further, something a lot of lenders are doing now is they're not only requiring 10% to be actually being invested, to like help with the startup costs, but they also would like to see, 10% in savings in the bank after you get launched. So they call this post-loan liquidity. So think about it like this. Let's say you take all $10,000 that you have, that's all you have left. You put that all in the business. That business has to work month one in order for you not to run out of money. If you've used all of the money the lender gave you, used all the money you put in there, there's nothing left. So a lender wants to see post-loan liquidity. They assume it's going to take a little bit of time to make some money, turn a profit. There's got to be some buffer there to help with that cash flow kind of gap. And so you just got to plan to start saving money. Minimum 10% for the owner investment, assume roughly 10% for that post-loan liquidity number. And just in general, you're going to want to have more cash than you think you'll need for unforeseen expenses. And you're going to pay for different services to get launched and all of that stuff. So that's what I would do. And then the bonus point, the fifth point that I'll mention is it never hurts to start business planning and all of that stuff ahead of time now, right? I mentioned we have a free business plan template. You can grab those off our website. They're probably linked in the description down below. You can start, writing out your plan. You can start working on your, financial projections and getting those ready to go. I don't think you need to do these today, particularly if you're not starting a business super soon. It doesn't hurt to start getting that plan out. But those are the things I would do today if you're planning on applying for an SBA loan to set yourself up for when that time comes. So if at any point you have any questions, just contact us at support@ProjectionHub.com. Our specialty is in financial projections, business plans, and preparing for SBA loans. We would love to help you answer any questions as you prepare for your SBA loan. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. We've got a lot more business plan and SBA content and projections and all that kind of stuff. So we'd be happy to help you. So wish you the best of luck and thanks.